always a pleasure to be back among academia, because this is what the heart and soul of civilization is. Because these are the places where the seeds are sown, and the young people who pass out of these places then blossom, grow, and then they shape the world. It doesn't matter whether it's technical, non-technical, liberal arts, or whichever part, but fundamentally, it's the quality of academia and the quality of academics that decides the fortunes of nations. And I think that's very, very important. And I've just spent about half an hour going around the lovely campus that Plaksha has, but less important is the campus. More important is the wonderful stuff that is going on in campus. The laboratories, the kind of work that is going on. I heard in the previous session, the students and the faculty speaking about use cases they're working on. They focus on actually a lot of applied research, picking up real-life problems and using technology, and not ordinary technology, cutting-edge technology to solve real-life problems. I think you're doing a great contribution to the nation, a great contribution to the dream which we all collectively have of making India Viksit Bharat. And I'm going to limit myself to actually what Viksit Bharat is, what the role of technology is going to be there in that, and what, say, Niti and Plaksha can do in our own little way, reaching that goal. There is a national ambition to make India a developed nation. I heard that quiz question in the morning. The exact answer for actually a cutoff for a developing nation is $13,850, if somebody wants to know, as the per capita income. But it's pretty correct, $15,000. India was aiming to be an $18,000 per capita income nation by 2047. That works out to about $30 trillion, which is actually larger than what United States is today. I'm sure US will be much larger by then, but that is the goal which the nation has. And this goal is aspirational, but what it also means is business as usual will not do. What we need to have is not incremental change, but transformative change. What we need to do is past practices and past ways of doing things will not work for the future. The problems of the past, people were struggling with hunger, poverty, disease, sustenance. Those problems are largely solved. India is no longer a country of famines. India is not a country, you know what India's life expectancy was at the time of independence? 32. Most people in this room would be dead if it was 1947. And we have crossed 65 and we are targeting 81. It's the kind of change. We had literacy rate at the time of independence of 18%, 1/8. That is 4 out of 5 people could not read and write. Where have we moved from there? So I think that is over. But I think the bigger challenge is, how do you make India a developed nation? The biggest challenge for us is not to get stuck where we are, because we are very satisfied with what we have achieved. What we have achieved is immense, but we need to achieve more. There are huge opportunities for us. Demography is in our favor. We have a very, very young population. All the youngsters in this room and who are probably listening to us elsewhere, they are the future of this nation. And for a very long time, India will continue to be a very young nation. That's the biggest advantage. We have a neighbor whose median age is about 39. Our median age is 29. I mean, that tells you the difference. And we will not reach 39 median age even in 2047. So we will be a very, very young nation for a long time to come. In the next 25 years, almost half the world's incremental working age population is going to come from India. The other source of working age population is going to be Africa. These are going to be the two pools of people who are going to actually drive economic growth in future. But then, for them to drive, they need to be equipped, they need to be talented, they need to be skilled to play a contributory role. The world environment is in our favor. Geopolitics is in our favor. The way technological change is happening, it's in our favor. Technological change never favors incumbents. It always favors disruptors. It faces people who do not have any investment in existing systems. So when we talk about technologies which Plaksha is working on, things like AI, robotics, and a whole host of other things, these are technologies which are huge disruptors. Both climate change and AI are huge disruptors. People who are invested in the past have no way but to actually retool and re-engineer themselves. India's advantage is we build the thing the right way from beginning. We are a $3 trillion economy, $3.5 trillion. This year will be $4 trillion actually by the end of the year. 30 trillion is what we are targeting. 90% of India is not yet built. It is still out there in the next 20 years. There will be 100 more Plakshas in this country as we go along, and that way you have become a role model for many others. When we build that, build them the right way. Build institutions which meet the demand for the future. I think that is important. And there's no point building a Cambridge or an Oxford today, because that met the requirements of a different era. You need to build institutions which will be meeting the requirements for the future. And nobody has actually thought about it. And it's an eye-opener to see what's happening at Plaksha, that you are actually changing the way education is not only taught, but the kind of subjects and the kind of methodologies being adopted are trying to cater to future needs. I think that's very, very important. One thing is nice to read reports, future of work and future of jobs. The other is actually doing it on the ground, getting an institution which meets the demand for that kind of a future. And I think that's very, very important. And these disruptions are very, very useful. Take AI. I mean, it's completely disruptive. It is reshaping. It will reshape societies. It will reshape economies. It will reshape governments, not just businesses. Do we even have an idea as a nation how much of a disruption it will bring in? You'll have people who are doomsayers saying there will be destruction. But there are enough people who say there are going to be opportunities. I am an optimist. People said that when the computers came into governments, clerks will disappear. I don't think clerks have disappeared. There will be a complete reduction in usage of paper. It's well documented. Paper consumption in the world has gone up 5 times after the introduction of computers and typewriters were removed. So I don't think there will be. Simple economics says there will be creative job destruction. There will be jobs disappearing somewhere, they will be appearing somewhere. Because otherwise the world will not exist. So the world you don't need to do X work, there will be some other work which will require people to be done. And particularly a lot of service jobs where people have to have a human interface, their numbers will go up. AI will probably improve the quality of service that they are giving. So I think this is very important that we recognize that this is an opportunity which we need to leverage ourselves on. And for India to become Viksit Bharat, we need to understand not only this, but all other disruptive technologies, quantum computing, new ways in which biotechnology is being done. We need to understand those technologies, draw the right conclusions, and then draw roadmaps on taking us and leveraging that for making India Viksit Bharat. I mean, just see what has happened in our neighbor. It was a standard story. Our neighbor is strong in hardware, we are great in software. But the first big disruption in AI has come from our neighbor. I mean, DeepSeek R1 has completely upended general notions about AI. What it has upended is it capital intensive? Is it investment intensive? Is it time consuming? Is it secret or is it open? They have changed the entire logic of that. And I'm not saying that will be the leader, but the fact is that is disruptive thinking. And I think the next disruption has to come from India. If we don't, we will lose the race. And that is the kind of stuff that has to be incubated in our Plakshas, our IITs, our IISCs. They need to start thinking, and our firms, how do we create the next disruption? And it's doable. I think India has the IQ, India has the talent. Can we do cost-effective AI? We have done very well in use cases, and I think that's been our strength. So far, our entire software industry is all about use cases. Take SAP and see how it can be customized to a customer. Take some software, how can it be customized to somebody else? When do we create the original product? I think that's it. People keep talking about making India a product nation. But I think AI is a good example where I think the time has come where we need to do that. Just see what has happened in the Paris summit. I mean, you got 100 nations. People are seeing that AI is critical, not only now from an economic point of view, but from a security and a strategic point of view. I mean, the dominant economies of the future are those who are going to be controlling, the high peaks of technology. I mean, the French have said they'll invest about 100 billion euros. A lot of people, you have got declarations, but it shows the centrality of AI. And I think that's what somebody like Niti is also focusing on. In India, this is very, very key for Viksit Bharat. And we need to focus on 4 or 5 things if we need to harness a technology like AI. But whatever I say for AI will apply to quantum, it will also apply to robotics. We need to have very, very bold R&D. The good thing is the government has been thinking about it. A year ago, they set up an Anusandhan National Research Foundation, about 100,000, a trillion rupees, 1 lakh crores, has been put for research, but that will go to public research. Another 1 lakh crores was announced in the previous budget for private R&D. I think this is time for private industry to tap this fund which is there, and this is going to be long-term fund, largely in the form of a grant, very, very prone to funding highly risky ventures. Use that, and we need bold R&D, and not thinking about the past, but thinking about the future. Focus on the next disruption. I think that's very, very essential. And that's where people like Plaksha can also play a role. The second is build infrastructure for this AI. We are nowhere, in terms of what you call them, GPUs and other stuff. The basic infra that is required for technological progress, I think it's missing. Then the talent pool. Do we have enough people? We get very proud about our engineers, etc. But on the journey to Chandigarh, I was reading in a paper about AI. I think if you look at per capita, not even per capita, per 1,000 engineers or whatever, how many are actually AI equipped? India is 10th or 11th in the world. We are not number 1. So please remember that. And 2 is worse. The migration of this lot, so the best lot in AI is already being grabbed and being taken away. And this is hard data. And I went through it, I've actually clipped it and kept it in my thing, saying that we need to tackle these kind of problems. This is not by restrictions. It basically means our local ecosystems are not attractive. But to addressing the youngsters at the back, I think the future is there for you to grab. And if you equip yourself, I think the world is there for you to conquer. And the last thing, in this entire AI and technological world, I think India has a chance to be a trendsetter, because what is successful in India has great applicability in large parts of the world. The UPI got invented here. It didn't get invented in the United States or UK or Europe. It will never enter there because you have monopolies there. You got the Visa and MasterCard and American Express system. But the Visa MasterCard thing will never break into the Indian ecosystem anymore, because it's actually dated stuff. I know there are conversations even in advanced countries. Hey, why didn't we do this? But it didn't happen because in the 60s you didn't have mobile phones. So the only way you could develop was linearly. But you have leapfrogged. I think in areas like AI, biotechnology, quantum, India can develop solutions which are far more applicable to large parts of Africa, Central Asia, Southeast Asia, because it will come up with a different paradigm. And the paradigm will be different because our constraints are different. The Ambassador car had a utility in India, because other than that, no other car could go on Indian roads for a long time. So, even if you were given the choice to buy a foreign car, you wouldn't buy it because it wouldn't last. So there was so Indian constraints enable us to develop technical solutions which have great utility. So I think we can actually become a trendsetter and a global standard setter in this. As far as Niti is concerned, I think we are doing a lot. We recognize the importance of all this. We have set up a frontier tech hub in Niti. The former president of NASSCOM, Devjani Ghosh, she has joined Niti. She's with us full time. And we're working both in Delhi and in states to promote the frontiers of knowledge. What are we trying to do? We're trying to do 4 or 5 things. There's actually nobody in the country who's tracking what is happening in frontier technologies. Take AI, for example, across the world. Most people's information is from newspapers. No, we need something better than that. What is the latest that is happening? Second, AI for individuals. That's education, healthcare, jobs, skills. Third is AI in industry, in our own manufacturing, in agriculture, in services. How can you use AI? The third is AI in government itself. I mean, how much can you transform government using these technologies? I think that's the thing. And the fourth, becoming a global leader. We are working with state governments to set up state hubs, basically bringing everybody, private actors, private companies, technology companies, consultancy firms, and users to one place and getting use cases identified and solved. So what made me most happy in the morning, listening to the work at Plaksha, is you're focusing on use cases. I think that's what the world needs. And if the youngsters coming out here are already mentally attuned to doing this, I think they are great. And I was going through what Plaksha is doing. I would urge all the young kids here, drop by Niti. I've left my card with some of your faculty and seniors. Drop emails there and we'll direct you. Some of you can even start working on some things there. And it need not be in Delhi. Telangana, Hyderabad is setting up a frontier tech hub. Bangalore is setting up one. Ahmedabad is setting up one. Gandhinagar. Mumbai is setting up one. Probably Chandigarh. We are talking to Haryana government. They will all set up. And it will not be Niti driven. Niti will only bless it, like God. But the others will bring people together and see that it succeeds. There will be immense opportunities flowing in this area. The world is full of problems, but every problem is a challenge. But when I see youngsters, it gives you hope that these are people who will actually solve these challenges. And the world will be a better place for all of us. I compliment the founders again. It's called the Founders Day. So it's a fabulous initiative. May you succeed. May the force be with you. And may this become a wonderful university which is known all around the world. Thank you very much.